Hello everyone, thanks for joining again. This is the Real Shot 256 coming at you on May 28th. It is 9:33 Pacific time. Here for another video, a little bit of TA. Today's video is going to be a little winded, so fair warning there. If you feel free to actually place the video on 1.25 replay, so that maybe you can speed through it if you'd like. As always, I'm going to do kind of the assessment of the market, current market state, see where we're going with Bitcoin and maybe XRP, and then from there we're going to take a look at, as I mentioned on my last video, I'm going to give you guys my opinion on whether Craig Wright is or is not Satoshi Nakamoto, and I'll provide some proof behind, how I came up with that resolution. Again, it's going to be a bit longer video than I usually do. So again, feel free to play it at a higher speed if you want to get through it a little bit quicker. And again, if you want to get through the TA side of things, just go ahead and fast forward to the Craig Wright Satoshi commentary. So let's get started here. Market cap currently at $273 billion, and the volume is up from a couple days ago, 82 billion. In fact, I was on my last video, I was commenting that I was a little worried about the declining volume right before this last spike. We're kind of over here in this area, and I saw the 24-hour trading volume kind of come down. I was a little skeptical of whether it was going to keep going down, and I told you guys that if it did, then we could typically see the declining volume correlate with a downward move. And in fact, the volume did pick up. So that's obviously, and every time will be a bullish sign. So nothing to worry about there. We did see this nice, again, sort of parabolic move. It went up by 10 to 15%, finally stabilizing around current levels. We're going to call it, in fact, let me refresh this because I don't think I've refreshed it in the last 10 or 15 minutes. So we're currently sitting at 8604, $8,600 range, depending on, again, on whichever exchange you're usually trading. I usually trade on Binance. So in fact, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of my TA and where I think Bitcoin is going to go. In fact, we called the right move last time. Although we did see the declining volume, we did actually call for a higher for Bitcoin to reach a higher high, and it actually did it. So if you want to take a look at my last video, it's on there. I told you guys, follow the trend. The trend is your friend, and the trend has not changed at all. So definitely want to keep trading with the trend, not against the trend. So taking a look at the current chart on Binance, I did draw a pitchfork, and what I did is from this point to this point low to this point high, right? And I used if you guys want to do this, I used a modified shift pitchfork. Okay, so if you guys want to follow that, go ahead and use that. And then if we go, again, this is on the daily. We'll just do it off of this, and you can see how it's been calling the price action pretty darn good. We're on this upward channel here. This was the last trend, forming a triangle, and it broke to the upside. And like I was telling you on the last video too, there was several occasions, like you can see here, that was a triangle. Here, that was another triangle. And what happened was it kept breaking to the upside, and it formed another triangle here. And guess what? The trend continued. So pretty obvious move there. We thought it was going to hit the $9,000 range. In fact, I've got it drawn out here. It hasn't. I don't think it's finished the move yet. And as we, get further along on the chart, we're going to see this line kind of move upward too, because I think it has to finish this move to this red middle line here. Once it hits it, and at this point, let's just say it hits in the next couple, maybe in the next day or so, then we would be at this level here, which would call for a $9,100 high. Again, that's if we do this, if we make this move in the next 24 to 48 hours, that's kind of where it will put us. However, I mean, this could take longer. This could take a week, maybe 2 weeks, who knows? But I think I definitely think we are going to keep moving in this channel. See, this is the red middle line of the channel, and then this is the support line down here. And you can see we've been steadily trading in that channel, calling all the right moves, calling all the right actions. So didn't quite finish the move here. I think we're going to wait another couple more days, maybe another week, like I said, and then try again at this middle red level here, and then from there we'll reassess. But again, we called for this move on our last video, guys. If you want to check that out, go ahead and tell your friends about it. Share it if you find valuable information, valuable TA in this. If not, just let us know what we're missing down below in the comments. But I do think, I mean, overall, next move is again up. We're probably going to make another. In fact, you can see it better on the 4-hour. So let's switch to that. Yeah, we're probably going to make, see, we're starting to make another sort of a triangle here, another triangle formation. So, I mean, it's just repeating over and over. So as far as that goes, as far as technical analysis goes, it's like the easiest thing to call right now because it just keeps building the same patterns over and over and over. So it just makes it really, really easy right now. All you have to do really is just hold on to your positions. If you're a skilled trader, then you could call the top if you're lucky. Again, that's highly skilled. Maybe some algorithmic trading using bots will catch that, and then people will wait for dips. So that's up to you depending on your strategy. If you're a day trader, if you're a swing trader, then hopefully you stepped in right around these ranges down here, and you've been riding the nice upward wave all the way through. So hopefully you're doing that or some variation of that. And so you're capitalizing on these gains. Nothing wrong with also taking some profits, guys. So if that's what you feel you need to do, then go ahead. By no means, there's nothing wrong with that. Take some gains, take some profits, and then try to do it again. That's what I'm doing. As far as we're if in the meantime, while we do get this formation to actually play out completely, and before we get to the next big move, um, you know, I do see this as major support here, and look at this again, the upward trend channel here, this blue area, this blue bottom line here is definitely going to act as support, as well as this, the top of this triangle here is also going to try to act as support. Um, I have this drawn out better on the my trading view chart. If we do if we do start to come down like we have seen here right now, it's actually playing up against or leaning up against the yellow 21 major moving average. And look at that, it's just respecting it and bouncing right off of it. So we might see this low value trading here and just continue on forward for the next maybe day or two or whatever until the next move. And then if it does break this channel here, I mean, look at how many support levels we've got just underneath it. So plenty of support here. I don't think we're ready to make a huge move downward yet. I think again we're going to try to finish this move here to the upside into this middle range. Um, if we do get to the top, which is very hard to see right now because of the parabolic action in Bitcoin, but yeah, here we go. We can see a little bit better here. Again, it's going to come. I think it's going to try to do this again and come to the middle of the channel. Maybe, I don't know. Looks awfully bullish if we do this, and we get to, what is this, to the sub $10,000, $11,000. Again, we'll see if it finishes the move. I think it will. So watch out for that, guys. 9100, $9,200 dollar price levels is what to be expected right now. So yeah, and then the other thing definitely worth mentioning is XRP is actually setting up for a golden cross to the upside. So a bullish cross in TA. there is very little there's very little indicators that really um, hold this kind of weight up. I actually was trying to get to the daily. Okay, so on the daily chart, which again, the longer the time frame, um, it usually carries a lot more weight with it. And so the Golden Cross, right? Look at the green 55 and the purple 200. They're about to cross to the upside. The green 55 is catching up to the 200. Once these two meet and actually confirm across to the upside, then we can definitely, um, let's just say I'm going to be very, very bullish on XRP over the next coming months. And also with Bitcoin still making an upward move, I don't think there is going to be anything stopping it. So to be honest and fully transparent here, I have not bought any XRP at all. I don't hold any XRP at all currently. But you bet if this continues, if we can keep this price movement up where it is now, I do think in the next couple of days we're going to see a golden cross here. Let me highlight that for you. Yeah, I do see we're gonna make that move. And again, I am definitely going to be bullish on this, and I'm definitely going to be buying once we get confirmation of that. Unless Bitcoin decides to rain on everybody's parade and take a big nasty dump, as we're kind of seeing right now. It's on a downward move. Um, let's just see what it's doing right now currently. Let's see from here in the last couple of days. It's down. Oh, it's only down about 2.5%, so it's not that bad. All right, guys. So, yeah, those definitely watch out for those two, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys want me to cover any other coins or any other projects, I'd be more than happy to do so. Just let me know down in the comments. All right, so and here we see the golden cross we got a couple of weeks ago on Bitcoin, a few weeks ago on Bitcoin. That happened on 421 actually, and I mean just look at the move, just completely obliterating any resistance. And I mean same thing we could see the same thing over here for XRP in the next couple of weeks or months. So let's see. So yeah, the big story that I wanted to bring to you. There's been a lot of controversy around Craig Wright claiming he is Satoshi, trying to provide proof, and actually just went out and filed for a copyright on the Bitcoin name and the use of Bitcoin, which I've done a little bit of research on that, and it looks like it's really insignificant. Anyone can go in there into the copyright office and claim ownership of anything. They don't actually do any work to validate what you're claiming. They just, it's just for paperwork purposes. It just says, hey, this guy came in here and he claims that he's the owner of X and Y, and that's it. It's just for documentation purposes. There's nothing really going on with that. But so I came across this very very thorough um, um, journalistic post here, and I really dug into this, and I've been reading a lot. So I've done a lot of research on this. This is the actual writer over here, Jameson Lopp. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Um, and of course, Mr. Craig Wright on the right here. So he did extensive research on the subject, and he posted it on this article here, and he named all of his sources. And these are the points I want to bullet points I want to focus on. But he named all of his sources, named everything he pretty much used to put this thing together, and pretty much he's saying that Craig Wright is in no way, shape, or form Satoshi Nakamoto. And again, he's backing his claim with a lot of proof, a lot of A lot of documentation using his own words, Craig Wright's words, using tweets. I mean, you name it. Just I mean, any sort of information you can find online, and he pretty much compiled it all in this huge, just great article. So if you guys want to go check this out, I'm going to put it in the description of the video. But it's right here. Here's what I'm focusing on to kind of give you my opinion. Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to say, yeah, duh. I mean, he's not uh, Satoshi, right? Craig Wright is not Satoshi. He's fake Toshi, right? Um, I'm going to go with Jameson, and one of the reasons is this here, his writing style. Um, According to text analysis, that there's actually been a firm that's done this research. They have algorithms and systems that can actually check for you. You simply, include any text that you're trying to analyze and compare to another text, and this system will kind of tell you if the writing styles are similar or are not. And actually, it's been pretty efficient at calling these sort of scenarios where a person claims to have written something, and they can actually use this in court. They've actually done it. So it's pretty reliable information that he's listed here. But again, so the writing styles don't match, right? And I went ahead and let me show you guys. I've been reading the full thread of emails even before. This is going back to before Bitcoin was actually Bitcoin actually mined its first ever coin, right? So these are the first emails Satoshi Nakamoto ever wrote and sent out to his peers. Anyone that he sent it out to in his initial communications to start the Bitcoin network. And I've learned so much from this, honestly, guys. I've taken, so it's just a little bit of background too. I've taken a course by Coursera, um, done in 2014. I'll try to look up it's actually on YouTube, but I'll try to look up the links to that course because it does offer a very comprehensive, very technical insight into how Bitcoin works from its entirety. I mean, from point A to point Z. It is a very thorough course. It is about I think it's about 14 courses long. So there's 14 videos. They're each about they're all over an hour long. So I mean, it's definitely extensive. It's an extensive course, but you come out of that really knowing, really understanding what Bitcoin is, how it works, the technical aspects of it, what what things mean when people say the hashing rate, every block has to have a hash header, a block header, announce what is announced, what is a Coinbase transaction, all these technical terms. You really come out of this understanding really thoroughly how Bitcoin works. Now it is based in, it was done in 2014, so a lot of the teachings, a lot of the information in there is obviously out of date. I mean, from the two things that for example, two things that weren't even thought of back then was the Lightning Network, which is about to be about a year old or something, and also SegWit. Nobody, maybe there were ideas around SegWit, but there was no SegWit implementation yet, not even on Litecoin. Litecoin did prove. Some people claim that Litecoin is like the sandlot for testing anything that's going to be that's going to be implemented on Bitcoin. So um, so yeah, SegWit and Lightning Network were not even thought of back then. So there's I mean, from that standpoint, maybe you get a little more of a pure, really more of the romantic aspect of what Bitcoin was in 2014 and the vision that it was back in those days and where people wanted it to go. But again, it's a great course on Coursera. I'll look for the link and try to post it on the description here so you guys can look at it and take it if you want. It's actually done by a very reputable university, Ivy League type of university, the online version of it. So so yeah, so I did read the full thread here. of emails back and forth between Satoshi Nakamoto and the group of individuals that were first tasked with running the network and making sure that Bitcoin runs, and the testing and the first transactions and the first blocks that were mined. It's all on this thread here. I'll post this link on the description of the video as well, so you guys can look at what I'm looking at and read it if you will, if you want to. But and then one that I was really taken back by is this one here. Was written in January 8th, 2009, after the first transaction was mined. Um, so the first transaction, first Bitcoin was mined in January 3rd, 2009, and that transaction was between Mr. Satoshi Nakamoto himself and Hal Finney. Um, and so this post states that the official release date of Bitcoin. And I just want to read maybe a couple excerpts from from these emails, so you can see the difference in writing. Let's read this one here. You can get coins by getting someone to send you some, or turn on options, generate coins to run a node, and generate blocks. I made the proof of work difficulty ridiculously easy to start with. So for a little while in the beginning, a typical PC will be able to generate coins in just a few hours. It'll get a lot harder when competition makes the automatic adjustment drive up the difficulty. Generated coins must wait 120 blocks to mature before they can be spent. All right. And the reason I'm reading it is so you guys can start to see what his writing, what Satoshi's writing is like. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, pretty black and white. Now, here is the actual Bitcoin peer-to-peer electronic cash system white paper. This is the actual white paper. That link will be included as well, so you guys can read it. And it just goes through, what Bitcoin is, explaining every aspect of Bitcoin, timestamping, proof of work, what it all means. Here's, what I was telling you about, all the technical aspects, the previous hash, what a nonce is, what, these transactions, what they mean, the network incentives, reclaiming disk space, simplified payment verification, combining and splitting value, privacy. It goes through the entire. It is the entire white paper. It's always good to read this. One very cool thing, maybe a little bit of trivia for you guys also, is he never mentions mining as the official way to obtain and create new coins. He also doesn't use the term cryptocurrency, so it actually came from somewhere else. I mean, actually, never mind that. Um, he does mention cryptocurrency later on. I'll clarify that. He mentions cryptocurrency later on as a separate term, but he never mentions it in the white paper. So this must have been something. The term cryptocurrency must have been something that was or that came about afterwards, after maybe the system was up and running, and people were starting to talk about it, and his colleagues were like, hey, why don't we call this a cryptocurrency? It is cryptographically secured. It just makes sense, right? So I want to read you an excerpt, this number 4 here, and there's a reason why actually. I want to read 4 out of anything else in the white paper, but another little excerpt from Satoshi's writings. To implement a distributed timestamp server on a peer-to-peer basis, we will need to use a proof of work system similar to Adam Back's Hashcash. Adam Back. He is. I didn't know he actually had created Hashcash. I had heard of Hashcash. I didn't know he was the actual creator of Hashcash. Adam Back is the guy who was responsible for the first ever Bitcoin satellite to orbit the Earth. So what that means is um, Bitcoin does not rely on internet anymore, not solely. And although this is very also nascent technology within another layer of nascent technology, we don't require, we're not fully dependent on the internet. So when people tell you that, well, all you have to do is shut down the internet and you shut down Bitcoin. Well, first of all, that's not going to happen. Second of all, now if say for some ridiculous reason the world decided to shut down all the internet connection in the world, well, guess what, guys? We don't really rely on um, on 100% internet connection to be able to transact in Bitcoin. Now you can actually transmit radio waves to the Bitcoin satellite, which again, it's just to be a little clear and transparent on that, it's being called the Bitcoin satellite, the blockchain satellite, but we are, or not we, but Adam Back's company is actually um, renting a little bit of space in that satellite to be able to transmit the blockchain throughout the world via satellite. So sorry about that little tangent there, but thought it was also very insightful, very useful information for anyone that cares. Rather than newspaper or Usenet post, the proof of work involves scanning for a value that, when hashed, such as with, there you go, SHA-256, the hash begins with a number of 0 bits. The average work required is exponential in the number of 0 bits required and can be verified by executing a single hash. For our timestamp network, we implement the proof of work by incrementing a nonce in the block until a value is found that gives the block's hash the required 0 bits. Once the CPU effort has been expanded to make it satisfy the proof of work, the block cannot be changed without redoing the work, as later blocks are chained after it. The work to change the block would include redoing all the blocks after it. All right, so again, the writing here is pretty straightforward, pretty clear, pretty concise, right? He's straight to the point, very transparent, and uses just very elementary language here to write his white paper, to the point that excluding these technical terms, anyone can understand what he's talking about. I mean, I was able to by reading this white paper. Of course, I did take that course, which I cannot even tell you how useful that is, how helpful that is, that I've actually taken the course and then I read the white paper and I was able to follow the whole thing. But, technical terms aside, like I said, this is a very easy to follow paper. You guys can do it. Um, so, very straightforward. Again, go ahead and read it for yourselves if you want to kind of follow me on this path and make your own determination. And then lastly, um, I chose this article written by Mr. Craig Wright, March 13th of God knows what year. If you go to this site here, you'll find a lot of his writings. A lot of his writings. I mean, you can spend hours here, like I did. Now, I want to read you this little excerpt here. I'm going to start with this one. Many will have you believe that signing a message with a digital key is itself proof and not mere evidence in the construction of case. It is a fallacy I need to rebuke. It is an idea that is miasmic. Don't even know what that means. That is miasmic. Through its virulent and noxious constitution, being of mephitic nature, reminiscent of toads wallowing in the pond they defecate in with its septic rankness. It pollutes the minds it touches. God, guys, I've read this 3 or 4 times before doing the video, and every time is a mouthful. I cannot get through it without stumbling. the more Othello gave proof through deeds, yet such is what some would seek to obfuscate. They seek to obscure the very meaning of proof, for it eats at the heart of law. Can you guys start to see the lack of correlation here, the lack of writings, the lack of um, what's the word I'm looking for? The lack of similarity in the styles of writing. Um, I don't know if you can already, but I mean, I just read you this short little paragraph here, and gosh, it was a mouthful. Um, and I also want to read this um, top part here as well. Let's let's start up here. It is all anyone who believes in freedom should be opposed to. It's something that childish hackers and those aligned to states who oppose freedom seek to promote. It is not simply leaving choice to mere algorithm, but in taking away the power from the existing system. They seek to weaken the underlying tenets of law and the structure of society. They call it by many names. Some say it is anarcho-capitalism. Others do not care for the label, but just seek disorder and chaos. Yet with all, the aim is very clear: to undermine the nature of justice. Um, Glai Hekatum, I am not going to pronounce it, published in 1565 by Geraldi Cinthio, and the inspiration for Shakespeare's in the creation of the tragedy of Othello begins with the refrain. There once lived in Venice a Moor who was very valiant and of a handsome person. He's talking about himself here. And having given proofs in war of great skill and prudence, he was highly esteemed by the Signora of the Republic, who in rewarding deeds of valor advanced the interest of the state. So he's talking about himself here. He's what he's doing in this whole article. Let me just paraphrase what he's trying to say here. What he's trying to get at is that proof is not proof. Is really what he's trying to get. I mean, to put it in simple, straightforward light, he's trying to discredit that proof means anything because he knows he's probably going to court and has to testify and has to provide some sort of proof that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. So he's really trying to weaken um, proof as proof, if that makes any sense. He's trying to weaken the meaning of proof, that he doesn't need proof to prove that he's Satoshi Nakamoto and the creator of Bitcoin. Rather, he is pointing that to the skill, that simply having the skill, and I think he's talking about computer science knowledge skills and also cryptographic skills, cryptography skills. He's alluding to the fact that if you have the skill, then he should be Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. Well, in that case, I mean, if I have the skill, if I'm a very skilled basketball player, it doesn't mean that I belong in the NBA. And uh, really, there's there's so many things that you need to do to fit that criteria. So yeah, he's definitely trying to say that his because he's got the skill, that should be sufficient knowledge. Or I think he would have even a hard time saying the word proof. He's trying to allude that yeah, he knows this stuff, therefore he is the creator of Bitcoin. So um, sorry about the long-winded video, guys. I kind of, I gave you a warning, so hopefully you're not too pissed off at me for creating such a long video on this. But there it is, guys. You make your own assumptions, you make your own conclusions, but do the research. I spent hours reading and reading both his postings, his literature, anything that he wrote. And then I also spent hours reading these emails one by one and just could not find any relation, any similarity between his style of writing and Satoshi's writing. Now, I'm also going to go a step further and say that Satoshi was, I think, based on my readings and my research, um, you know, I'm gonna say that Satoshi is one individual and not a group of individuals. Um, and that's it. That's as far as I'm gonna go with that. So yeah, definitely comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. See if you guys. I want to know if you guys like the video, so I can create more content like it. Definitely let me know about the TA if you guys like that. And yeah, just give us some comments, give us some likes. We always like it when you guys do. So yeah, I'll be signing off, and I'll before I go, also definitely follow us on Instagram at the Real Shaw 256, and also on Twitter at again the Real Shaw 256. We post content regularly there. In fact, if you go to our Instagram channel, you can pretty much see what's going on a daily basis, news, events that are going around cryptocurrency, and also gives you an idea what I'll be talking about in these videos. All right, so like and share, comment, let us know. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Good night.